am Deidre Quinn, and welcome to Pending and Trending, a podcast that started in real estate and grew into so much more. Here, we talk about the power of building wealth, creating opportunities, and designing a life that lasts for generations. With expert guests and real conversations, my mission is simple: to help you elevate your journey and build the legacy you deserve. Welcome back to Pending and Trending. I am here today with Nicole Mickle. She is a Florida-based realtor with Olympus Executive Realty, specializing in Winter Garden, Windermere, Montverde, and the greater Orlando market. With 30 years in the industry, she's closed over $50 million in the past 5 years and serves clients globally. Nicole holds a degree in economics, leveraging digital marketing, analytics, and interior-focused home preparation in her work. She also created FloridaHomesAndLiving.com, a design and Florida lifestyle platform with strong social media reach. Welcome, Nicole. I'm so happy to have you here today.
Likewise. I'm so excited to be here, Deidre. Thank you for the invitation.
Yeah, so let's just dive right into, you've been an agent for a long time. You have a lot of transactions under your belt. You've also done really well with your social media and your SEO. So let's talk really right about that and how you built your SEO, and let's share with our listeners some of those repeatable systems that agents can use.
Okay. Initially, everything for me was happened by mistake. I know it wasn't by mistake. It was all designed in the way things were going, but it wasn't an intent up front. When I was having issues with coming into getting clients and starting off fresh, I tried all the things that other brokerages or realtors had, previous realtors who had success with door knocking or calling different, cold calling and things like that did not work. So I said, let me just go ahead and maybe lean into some things that I have an interest in, which has always been design, although I've been in the industry forever. By me going onto Instagram was the thing that kind of created the whole snowball effect of social media and me just really becoming deep diving into it in every aspect that I could. So once I got into Instagram, I think that's where everything started to take its own lead and create new opportunities and provide me with exposure to people who were coming from all over the U.S. at that time. And that's how come I created this whole niche of relocation. It wasn't by design.
Okay. So you started with Instagram, and the content you were posting, was it all design related? What kind of content was it?
Initially, it was design because that's what really pushed it off. People sharing it, so the page got its traction. But I was like, okay, I can't just keep posting design because that's only one element to what I'm doing. I made it more informational because I'm also an introvert. I need to probably start with that. So the typical agent you'll probably think is extroverted, loves going to gatherings and communicating with people at high levels. I do not. So I'm a person who is able to communicate with people in small groups and gatherings, but I'm not someone that would do it online. So from online, I started to do more of an educational post. So whatever I had from customers that were calling me for questions, I just utilized that as a post, because as it started to expand and grow, more customers were asking me the same question. So if I had the same question 3 times, that kind of created the content for the day. I didn't have this strategy. I wasn't posting 5 times a day. I only posted based upon what the customers were asking me. And then I shared stories of what were wins and maybe pitfalls of my clients and how I was able to help them. And that was the content strategy from the very beginning.
That's a great share. So give me an example for our listeners of a question that you were asked that you turned into a content post.
Nicole, what's the difference between Winter Garden and Windermere, and what's the best community for me? And then I would just ask the client on the phone, what are some of the things that you're looking for? Because I think sometimes we get caught up in real estate as far as farming areas, and this is the best area, this is that. For me, it's all about the customer, being centered around what the customer wants and needs. So when they would ask me those questions, I would then say, if you're looking for newer construction, and they'll say, no, I don't like an older home. I'm moving from the Northeast. I want to build brand new. I want something that's going to be just like a Florida home. And I'll say, oh, okay, then let me go ahead and send you the top builders based upon the floor plans that you're potentially looking for, because you have 4 kids, or you're going to have to be able to work from home, or you want to have a playroom, or you want a pool. So those are things that I would go ahead and gather for them and just say, here are the top locations for you based upon what you're looking for. Create a post surrounded by that, include the pool, include maybe some interior shots of the new construction. And that's where I started to get a niche of new construction, because I would meet with the home builders ahead of time because they were not here. They were in another state. So by doing that, I created this group of people that were like, hey, we have this going on, Nicole. We have this one off market, or this one just came back onto the market. So it created a group of people that I was able to not just post about, but actually create a thriving business from. So it wasn't just all a pony show online.
Okay, great. So then you do a post, and then what happens next? Obviously, then you get engagement, or you tell me.
Yes, you're gonna get likes. You're gonna. But this is back in 2014, so of course Instagram worked perfectly then. It doesn't work the same way now, although it's more of a platform. But once the people came in, they would like, they would comment, they would say, "Where is this located? What's the price range? Do they have maybe townhomes in this community?" So then from those comments, I then would create the next post. And then I may go into sharing it directly with them. But instead of texting that client directly, I would do more of a broad based post that would connect to multiple people that I was talking to. So I may have 3 or 4 clients inquiring about the same information. And I'll say, hey, are you on Instagram? And someone like, oh, no, I'm not really on there. I'm like, if I send you an invite, would you join Instagram? Because I just did a post today specifically for you. And I think that made a difference with connecting to the client, because they felt that the content was for them. It wasn't because of something that I just made up randomly. It was specifically generated for them. And that gave us a building of relationships, and then it also expanded the group of people interested. So even within my realtor base of colleagues, they would then say, Nicole, I know that you're an expert in new construction. Oh, I know you're an expert in specifically winter garden. And then from there, it was able to go ahead, and I could go ahead and start to say, oh, wow. They would send me referrals. Or they would say, okay, another agent in another state would say, hey, I have a client looking specifically in your area who's looking to go ahead and purchase. Can I work with you as a referral agent? So it was multi-tiered at that point. I'm so sorry about that.
I wasn't sure if it was you or me.
But it's mine. It's one of my clients texted me. But yeah, so what happened was with that, I now have new construction sales reps contacting me. I then had the builder contacting me, which created me to have open house opportunities. From having those open house opportunities, it created clients who were buying. And then it also created a referral. So one post strategy was able to go ahead and create 3 different lanes of potential clients to connect with.
That's excellent. So you also talk about turning a website into an attraction. How do you do that? What's your plan there?
Okay, so let me probably put the other thing in between Instagram. I was also on Pinterest.
Okay.
Pinterest is more for fun. Okay, so that's where the SEO journey started, was directly with Pinterest, because most people think it's a social media platform, but it's actually a search engine platform. And one of my posts one day, I got a call from a potential client, and they said, hey, I just saw that you cover Orlando. And I was like, oh, okay. And I said, where did you find me? They said, oh, I found you online. And I was like, okay, that piqued my interest. So I'm like, how did you find me online? And then when I was able to put in what they put into the internet, one of my posts from Pinterest was actually looking almost like a blog post. And it was about communities in Orlando communities. And that generated a client to call me because of that one post I did.
That's awesome.
It was actually ranking on Google by mistake, and I didn't even know why. So from there, I was like, okay, how can I duplicate this? How can I reverse engineer this? And how could I do this again?
Right.
And that's what started me on the SEO journey for the website.
Okay. All right. Amazing. Okay, so then you switch gears from that. Now, do you still do a lot with Pinterest?
Yes, I still do a lot with Pinterest. I still do Instagram. I just don't do Instagram as heavy as I did before. And the only reason why I stopped, but I'm going to start back again, was because of 2020. So in COVID, I think people, especially the realtors, I want them to understand each market is different, right? So the migration from all over the world was coming to Florida during the shutdown. So they wanted to buy, even if it was a vacation home. That escalated the search engine optimization with the SEO because they were searching online. They didn't have time to do a 6 month plan of move. They're like, I have to get there now. So I was like, okay, let me create content based on the questions that I'm getting from people who are finding me online. And then I just created content based on that.
That's excellent. So, do you follow a regular routine on Pinterest? Is that like
No,
part of your regular
no,
platform?
no. You can. The thing about Pinterest that people don't know about is you can get onto Pinterest and a pin from 4 years ago is probably generating more business and interaction for you than anything else.
Wow.
So it's a long term game. I know a lot of times realtors, when I show them the Pinterest angle, they're like, this is going to take too long. I need clients now. But I think moving forward with the way the internet is now, we're going to have multiple mediums to go ahead and be able to facilitate these clients. You can no longer just do one thing and think organically it's going to go ahead and fuel everything. And with ChatGPT, AI, these new language models, you are going to have multiple things that certify you as being the person that's the go-to person or the expert, but you're having to have that conversation on multiple different platforms.
Okay. So, someone comes to you and they say, I need clients now. What do I do first?
First, you're going to get a website that you're going to interact and speak to people directly from. And then you're going to get onto Instagram, the Pinterest, the Facebooks, the whatever. And then you're going to go ahead and not just copy and paste each link and post at the same time. No. You're going to use one post on Instagram today that's then going to be your Facebook post in 2 more days. That's going to be your Pinterest post or your LinkedIn post. And right now we're seeing LinkedIn source probably heavier than any of them, Instagram or Facebook. Facebook could be the one for somebody else that's in Georgia or Idaho. That may be their go-to because their people are there. So I think that's the other thing too people need to understand. It's a collective. It's not just one here, one there. It's a component of bringing all those together.
Okay. And then let's talk about the website part. Can you dig into that a little bit for us? And
Yeah. So within the website, I think people need to have conversations with who their client base is. Everything is client centered, from questions that they're asking me to visuals that correspond with the things that they're asking me. So those visualizations are going to be over and over again and pretty redundant. But also, you're going to have Google reviews because you need to have Google My Business. Then you need to go ahead and have those pillar posts within the website. So if someone came to my website, they're going to see that I know new construction really well. They know I work with buyers. I also work with sellers. But I'm actually, each client that lands on one of those landing pages that I've put together, that's going to tell more of a story of how I help them.
Yep.
And I know people want it to be like rocket science. That's the gist of it. What is going to help them? What's in it for them to work with me? And what's going to go ahead and differentiate me from, the other 20,000 realtors in the Central Florida area? Like, a lot of times it's like a no-brainer for them because, yeah, they're top agents or people who have done well. But for me specifically, they like my style. They like that I'm not in their face. They like that they can come to the website and they can peruse before they even call me. Some people on the website 6 months sometimes in advance. But they're looking around, and then when they text me or they call me, they'll say, hey, Nicole, I've seen this and this, but I need more clarity on this and this. And then from there, it creates new content. So the same concept of posting for Instagram is the same concept of posting for the website.
Right. Got it. Okay. And now you are helping agents do this from a consulting perspective. Is that right? Can you share some of that?
Correct. Yes. So it started more so with the builders consulting with me because they would ask me, based on this location, Nicole, what are you seeing with your demographics from your websites? And I'm saying, like, this area is pulling in people from this state. So I can go ahead and give them insight as to where their new target market may be. So they're not doing this broad range of posting. When it comes to the agent, I'm able to tap into their specific market and understand who they want to work with. So we create an attraction marketing strategy. We're not looking to be everyone's agent. Everybody says, oh, I help everybody. But that's not really going to go ahead and fuel the business that they want to go ahead and be profitable, but also happy with. Because you're spread too thin. If you're doing new homes, mid-century modern to commercial, and you're driving an hour and a half, like where's the quality of life at that point when you could potentially be working right around the corner, or the place where you drop your kids off at daycare, or the park you walk your dog in, or the businesses that are right in your area that you can build that collaboration component as well, because there's so many angles that you can do with it. You can go ahead and collaborate with those businesses who are now utilizing and sending you business, as well as potentially you're coming in and getting free content, free food, all of the things above, but they're also sending you clients that are in your certain area in your target market.
That's excellent. That's excellent. For our listeners that might want to reach out to you for some coaching, consulting assistance as far as their SEO and what to do next, what's the best way for them to reach you?
They can just email directly at Nicole@NicoleMickle.com, and then they can even call, text, whatever. But I think with them contacting me, I'll then send them like a questionnaire that makes them really think about the business, because a lot of times we in that discovery call, we're finding out things that they didn't even know that they were specialized in, because they're so knee deep in the business and not looking at it from an outward perspective that they don't really know. I did a Realtor.com webinar one day, and it was on hyper local marketing, because that's basically what I'm doing. It's just a nice cutesy name for the title, but for them, they were in an area. I was like, oh my God, the views are amazing and mountainous. I don't know where it was. It was somewhere that I had never really visited. Florida, everybody's been here, right? But in their area, he was like, I really want to go luxury. And I'm like, dude, you can go luxury. I'm looking at homes, and then he's giving me a zip code, and I'm looking at the area on Realtor.com, and I'm saying, like, this wide open. I looked at the hashtag strategy you could utilize for that area, and you could probably be seen in a couple months easily and monopolize that location. But you need to go ahead and invest in drone photography, making sure that somebody is going ahead and showing you that, because this isn't something that if I went on social media, I would immediately find. You could be the owner of that lifestyle, and then, of course, ownership of the real estate side of it as well.
That's excellent. So that's so helpful, and love the shares. And I'm sure that our listeners have gotten some great takeaways already. And I hope some of them reach out to you to work with you further. Do you have any last things that you'd like to share with our listeners?
Yes, I would say do not focus on the gimmicks. I know AI is like controlling the headline right now, and if you don't do AI, you're dead. Yes, I think all of those things need to be incorporated, but I think many realtors have been able to fly under the radar with the whole relationship angle of their business, and they have not properly put a foundation of how you're going to communicate with people moving forward. My 84-year-old mom finds my post online. So it's over with us thinking, oh, this is a young person's game, or you have to gamify the system. But just focus on doing what you do best, but figuring out ways that you can go ahead and put it online before you jump into the AI thing, because sometimes you need structure before you jump into AI. AI can only be as good as what you've created.
Love that. AI can only be as good as what you've created. And don't forget about the relationship piece, right?
That's it.
Nicole, thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Pending and Trending. I love diving into today's conversation, a true example of what's possible when you learn your strengths, build with intention, and stay committed to serving at the highest level. If you are an agent looking to elevate your digital presence, refine your niche, or finally turn your website into a lead generator, make sure you connect with Nicole. You can find all of her links in the show notes. Follow her, learn from her, and reach out if you're ready to take your business to the next level. Her systems and her approach to authentic online growth are game changing. And if you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe, share it with a fellow agent, and leave a review. Your support helps us bring on more incredible guests who are shaping the future of real estate and entrepreneurs. Until next time, together we unlock possibilities. Thanks for listening.
Thank you so much, Deidre. It's been a pleasure to be here.
Thanks for tuning in to Pending and Trending. Remember, generational wealth doesn't happen by accident. It happens by action. If you liked today's episode, share it with a friend, subscribe, and let's keep elevating your journey together.